Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Hi. How are you?
Good. You?
Good, you? Good. Yep, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, good. Yes. I'm still warming up from the pickup line. It was a little chilly.
Was it windy?
Yes.
Yeah. I thought
Yeah.
the parents would like their hair like,
Yeah.
and as I was driving, I was like, oh, I can feel
Yeah. I was like, that's why I eat the extra bread and cheese, so I won't blow away.
it. Cool.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
But yeah. I'm, I mean, but it's mid-March, so
Mm-hmm.
I keep
Yeah.
telling the interns when I see them, I'm like, it can't last. Don't worry.
I know, but Minnesota's full of surprise.
Yeah. Yeah, we
But
have.
even in April, it could be something. You never know.
That's absolutely true.
Yeah. Don't put your winter jacket and winter boots away yet.
Right.
Or your snow broom left from the car. Like as you look
Yep.
outside and it's snowing now. It's
Yeah. It's
melting still.
really snowing.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had another host family sign up today.
Oh yes. Who?
The Rollins.
The rooms.
Sophie's, yes.
Yay, good. Cool.
So
I
that's
think they're gonna
awesome.
be a fantastic one.
I do too.
Yeah.
I'm excited. I love it when there's new families. Um,
Fresh blood.
Yes, and I want them, it's like so cool. It's such a cool experience and I want them to then they'll
Yeah,
tell their friends and you know, yeah.
yeah, that's true. I know they invited like Nina 2 or 3 times in the fall slash winter, to
That's
have
so
it like
cool.
some kind of an experience, and they're like right like 5 minutes away from here, so very fun.
Okay.
And
Very
so
cool.
so sweet. She's such a cool kid.
I
Yeah.
love it.
And I saw the little one yesterday in our class, Chloe. Oh, cute.
So cute. And she's coming to kindergarten next year, I think.
Already. Oh la la.
Yeah.
Goes
Do you
fast.
know who that 994 number was?
No, I don't know.
Me neither.
Sounds like a foreign kind of.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe. Well,
That's Malia and
yeah,
NFIPDO.
that's Malia. Hey,
Hello.
Malia.
She's like, yeah, I'm there, but not there.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. I'm happy that that family signed up. Who are the
Yeah.
two others? The kitty kids.
Uh, we are, and then
You?
the yeah. I was
Oh,
like, I'm just gonna put the application in so that.
yeah, I know.
And then Polly Gills,
Oh,
Felix's
wait. Okay,
parents,
okay.
and the Jordans, Ryan and Kim Jordan.
Oh, wait.
Charlotte.
C'est
Yeah,
ça.
yeah,
Ah, yay. Bravo. That's
yeah,
a good family.
yep.
She's helping the interns so much with driving them around. Like, wow.
I know,
Yeah.
I know it.
Yeah.
It's been so fun getting to know her this year. She is an awesome person.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
And she participates, she's involved, so that's good.
yeah, yeah. And like you said, like some fresh new people.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah,
Like,
because we've
pass the
had
baton, see?
what?
Pass the baton. Like you can do it.
Yes, yes, because we've had like 4 or 5 families that have hosted every year
Hmm.
for as long as yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Like you guys, there's like 3 or 4 of you, and I'm like, all
yeah.
right, we need some new people.
Hello.
Hello, Principal Barter.
Hey everyone, how are
How's
you?
it going?
Oh, it's
Good.
going.
Looks like you made it
I am
home.
I made it home and
Yes.
I was reminded right away that my wife and daughter start their spring break tomorrow. I'm just like,
Oh,
It's okay, but ours is just real late. So
Yeah, but
It,
it's snowing, so
somehow that maybe should make me feel better, and it really doesn't. But
yeah, ours is really late.
yeah,
It'll be fine.
yeah.
We had some kids on spring, our my kids were on a couple of my kids were on spring break this week. And so I'm like, what do you want to do? There's
Yeah.
I took them to the library yesterday, and today we went shoe shopping.
ooh,
So,
There you
yeah,
go. It sounds like a
ooh,
wonderful day.
yeah.
successful mom day.
Yeah.
Get those chores in. Let's do this.
Yeah.
Make it exciting.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Super exciting. And then I was like, you need to practice your piano.
Oh,
You can practice all week.
Hey, I'm gonna try something really quick just because I haven't used Zoom in a while for sharing screen stuff.
Oh yeah.
Can you all see that presentation?
yeah.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Looks great.
All right.
Yeah, I
Well,
know. It's technology.
we have so many different, and I'm gonna close. I'm not sharing anymore, am I? I've got 10,000 things open on my computer, so I just need to make this easier for myself and close
Yeah, you got to clean up a little.
the 10 million tabs and all the apps.
Well, it is 6:02, so let's get an official start going. And I'm sure we'll have some more people filtering in. Welcome everyone this snowy March evening, blustery March evening. Thanks to everyone for taking some time out of your busy lives to spend a little time with the PTO. It should be a good evening tonight. So we're going to start with our norms and procedures. And Malia, are you good reading those?
She's not on. She's having trouble signing on. I can read it.
Okay, Anna, you're on.
I think she just said it's a little glitchy or something. Yeah.
Okay.
Hmm. Um, General meeting norms: respect, actively listen, speak with courtesy and honesty, acknowledge one another, and express gratitude for the contributions we bring to this space. Conversation needs to remain professional and engaged. Number two, inclusion. We will be actively mindful of the count and counter our biases. We will be safe and brave space for everyone. Number three, service. The well-being of students and families is our priority. Seek ways to support students, their families, and the community, as well as improve the school. Understanding we all come from different backgrounds and cultures, and we acknowledge and appreciate that we will have different and equally valid interpretations of topics, issues, and conversations. And procedures, we will follow the meeting agenda that was prepared by the board and distributed to the community ahead of the meeting. If time allows, meeting attendees may ask a question or make a comment related to agenda items. Please use the raised hand function to indicate that you have something to share with the group. The meeting facilitator will call on you, and comments and questions are limited to 1 minute. At the 1 minute mark, a member of the board will give a reminder.
Perfect. Thank you. And just a reminder that this meeting is being recorded and we will post it on our LNFI YouTube page, PTO YouTube page. So, all right. Let's throw it over to our awesome Principal Barter, for an update and some info.
Yeah.
And
So, well,
hello to those
hello
who
everyone.
just yeah, who just joined. There's more
Thanks for
people.
having
Yay.
me. Um, this will be a very brief update, and then one of the things I want to spend a little time working with everyone on is the district. It was funny. I had a staff member um, who stopped by my office, and she goes, "I heard you're talking about some strategic planning. I'm really excited to hear what you have." And I was like, actually, I'm talking about the strategic plan initiative for the district. And she was like so disappointed. She was like, "Oh, it's going to be boring then." And I was like, "Well, thanks." I also see that that person's not here at the meeting, so maybe I should read into that a little bit. But the district is, and they've actually been starting this initiative of like trying to align. They have, if I believe it's right, it's either a 6 or 7 year cycle they do to kind of align district priorities and planning. And a big part of that is just working with students, teachers, families in the larger community just to get some feedback. So I'll spend some time just introducing the like preliminary priorities that are connected to some data points and stuff like that. And then also part of this is just partnering with parents and trying to figure out like what's the best way to get engagement from you all. I have some ideas, and I'm also really open to this group because I know you all have good ideas, and you can maybe help me with what's the best way to make sure that your voices get heard at the district through this process. I just hope that I can be kind of I don't know, the pathway through getting y'all heard within the district because I think it's really important. So, um, yeah, and as we go, I don't know, people that were here early were hearing our spring break feels late. That's kind of an update from the school, because I think as we see some of our surrounding districts get on to their breaks, I know I hear from students actually almost every day this week about how they have friends that are on spring break this week or next week, and things are going. And things are going really well right now at the school. Yeah, I think February was just a wonderful month, and I know that that's already feels like a long time ago for me in lots of respects. We just had lots of good community events and lots of celebrations that were positive for the community. And as we move into spring, we are like right on the heels of getting going on state mandated testing, which is also like one of the most boring things that we have coming, but it's also a like statutory expectation, and it's one of the things that I actually get oddly excited about, not because I want our kids doing assessments, but those assessments are connected to state standards, which are connected to the curriculum we use, and those MCA specifically. And I will continue to communicate this out, and I will say it with students and with staff. The data we get out of things like MCAs are actually not about student achievement. It's more about like, is the teaching and curriculum that my teachers are using aligning to what the state expectations are for like all school districts in the state. So the data we get's valuable. I will tell you all what I tell every kid, like I want you to try and I don't want you to stress, which I know is conflicting messaging. I think especially our students that go through it the first time, the anxiety is pretty high. I just also don't want kids to do the like next, 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 next. Like I want you to try a little harder than that, and I don't want you to overwhelm yourself with like I have to get this right or wrong. Just think about it as an opportunity to show teachers and administrators and like the community what you've learned. And generally, our school does really well. And yeah, I'm just as we get into that stuff, I know it's something that teachers are kind of looking forward to. The other bit that's coming, and this will likely be possibly like a pre spring break, and it might be like right before spring break and or possibly like immediately after. Um, I don't have it yet, and in the relative near future, like within the next week or two, I will have our staffing for next year, which I know for teachers is something a lot of them are thinking of. And I'm starting to dig into and look at enrollment stuff for stuff that we've gotten since the priority window was open and stuff like that. But I'll be looking into some of that data, and when I have some of the staffing stuff, I'll open up to get information from the community and also just to share. I'm upfront with people like the type of budget decisions I get to make are actually relatively small. And I don't say that to disappoint anybody, but just also to like manage expectations. And a lot of what drives the budgeting resources that I get are driven by enrollment. And there are other factors as well, too. I think sometimes there's some confusion of like the voters voted to pass, extra funds for the school. Like, why might we see a cut here or something like that in different schools through the district? And a lot of that is connected to enrollment and not actually the vote that we put through to get the levy through in November. So, but there'll be more information about that later when I have more specifics. So I do want to jump in. I'm going to try to do my presenting again with the strategic plan. Please feel free to interrupt, ask questions as we go through this. The slideshow is one that was provided to me, and I want to kind of touch on some of the things, and a lot of it's district information. And if you have questions, I'll do my best to answer them. And if things comes up that I don't have answers to, I'm happy to get them. But we're jumping into the strategic plan part. There is a video here by Dr. Stanley. Actually, let me see if I can just put this link in the chat. I'm not going to watch the video with you all now, but you all are more than welcome. I'll share it with you when I'm not presenting. That will be easier for me. Can you all just give me a thumbs up? Can you see what I'm presenting right now? Strategic plan. All right. Thank you, Rebecca. So there is a video. I will share a little bit about the 2033, and that already makes me feel old just saying that date is like this is what the plan is for, like that's the end date. We'll talk about priority areas and key topics, and then there'll be a closing. And I also just part of that will be, hey, what's the best way to get parent input and get it onto the district? I'm going to jump through the video, like I said. And like I said, I skipped some of these slides that might not come through. Um, but this process is one that there's already been some work going on. And the point is largely to get input from as many groups within the community as we can to like guide the work. And it's just important. I'm appreciative that people are here to share their voices. And whether I do this through a newsletter and a Google form or we hold some forums at the school, like I'll just want to try to make it approachable so we can get as many voices as possible. And again, this is about like high level priorities for the district as they think about their planning for their next 6 year cycle. You can kind of look at the timeline. Just the part that we're in now is the March, May 2026. And part of this that I'm working on is doing the community engagement work now. And like I said, there's a larger process that's been going on as well too since January. And actually, a lot of the data the superintendent was doing, she had her first 100 days work that she was doing to try to get a lot of feedback to filter priorities and stuff like that for herself as well too. Um, but it will be in the fall that the new strategic plan will be communicated out once they get data and can process through it and then start to put together some of their priorities and planning. Um, And really, the three priority areas, I won't read the whole slide. They're looking at maintaining or improving excellence in instruction, being really deliberate around inclusion, and then creating sustainable infrastructures. Um, as we jump into kind of the five priorities that the district has, or the five specific topics that they're really honing in on, you'll kind of see how that like excellence in instruction, the deliberate with inclusion and sustainable infrastructures kind of play into that as it plays into those five topics. And I'll just leave this here for like a minute if you want to read through it. Oh, good. Well, and so these are the key topics. And I think actually I'm not going to do feedback tonight because that will also take a longer time. And part of what, like I said, what I'll ask you at the end of this is just talking about what you all think might be the best way to get the most from parents so I can share it on with the district. But the five key topics the district has pulled out of conversations that they already have are reducing achievement gaps and academic acceleration for targeted student groups, special education programming enhancement, discipline and belonging review, family communication and language access, and then the marketing and enrollment bit and how those two are kind of paired. And we can talk a little bit also through this, like Étoile du Nord also holds a really unique position in the district, like the larger district. And the information I'm presenting to you now is about the district and not specifically about our building. So, like, you might look at it and be like, huh, I didn't know that was the case. Well, and the reality in our building is the data that I'm going to present to you here is like 2025 St. Paul Public Schools data. Like I said, our data often looks different. But what I'm going to ask for you to do is think of your child. You could think of a neighbor's child, and or if I don't know if we have, oh, Madame Mayer is here. Maybe some of your students in your room. And what I'm going to ask actually, if you do put this in the chat, and I'm only seeing five of us here right now, so this might be a really quick thing. If you want to just unmute, maybe we could do it that way. But what do you hope that your child and or a child in at St. Paul Public Schools, like, what do you hope they get out of their educational experience by the time that they graduate? And I don't know if people just want to unmute and go ahead and speak. That might be easier just given the fact that we have kind of small numbers. Oh, we have more people here. We can put it in the chat. Let's do it in the chat. Sorry. That was just because I was presenting. I wasn't able to see it. Well, thank you, Emily. I can see that you put a post in there. Oh, I'm seeing more now, Sarah, too. I'm just going to read as things come into the chat, if that's okay with everyone, just some of the stuff that's there. Um, so I see appreciation for learning, good friends, academic challenge, confidence to be who they are, and skills to navigate the complex multicultural world, to be bilingual global citizens. Yeah, and bilingual. Critical thinker, hardworking, and focus on their goals, dreams that they enjoy studying enough to pursue. Strong social connections, fluent in French and being prepared for junior high in another environment to transition as easily as possible, and strong social skills. Cool. And you all are more than welcome to keep adding things to the chat. Thank you for you all that have contributed. And like I said, if you want to keep going, you can. Just for sake of time and to respect that there are other things on the agenda, I'm going to kind of jump in to each of those 5 things. So the first one is achievement gap reduction and academic acceleration initiatives. Um, so there are trends of systematic disparities. With math and reading in our district, and overall proficiency in math and reading is pretty low. And I think that that's been made very clear by our superintendent, specifically around new efforts in literacy and stuff like that, just even in year one, that those things are top priorities. And that within different student groups, specifically as we break them down and look at the data aggregated by race, that we see really stark disparities within the data. And then also that certain groups, like our ELL students, struggle with low proficiency. And our principal group has been really upfront and just the like, hey, and this isn't the first time we're talking about this. Like, when are we going to start to actually make some substantive changes? And you can kind of take a look as you see the reading scores are in blue, math is in like lime green. But you can see the data as it breaks down by race, and start to really dig in and see some really significant discrepancies in achievement for our various student populations.
Sorry, could you just say real quick what those numbers are actually? What are those? Are those like the
So
percentage
it's
of people who
percent, yeah, it's
pass?
percentages proficient at grade level within those
Okay.
respective groups in their respective subjects. So for reading, for like if you look at all students, 35 proficient in reading district-wide. In math, it's 27%.
Okay, cool.
And then you
Thanks.
can see it broken down for
District-wide.
racial groups.
District-wide.
District-wide, correct. Yep. And we do see disparities in our numbers at LNFI, and our overall achievement scores are significantly higher in our building. And I don't have that data to share with you at this moment. I'm sorry. And some of the questions that the district is putting forward, and these are ones that I have in a Google form, which I can share. And if we decide that an in-person meeting to kind of talk through some of these things is better, I'm happy to facilitate some of those as well. But it's just really like starting to get family feedback about, if your child is having challenges academically, what's helping them, um, in what ways do supports meet children's needs? If not, what are barriers? Um, yeah, and then just trying to get both sides of it. Like, are we having challenges in this space, or are we finding that where there are significant needs? And I'm going to move through to just some of the other categories and some of the data that we have to share. The second topic of high interest is special education programming enhancement. One of the trends in the district in the recent past is there's been a steady increase in the number of students, and this is all the way through receiving special education services. This is also I have some more specific slides about this. This is actually at the same time as overall district numbers and enrollment have declined. So it's a larger and larger portion of our students in district that are receiving special education services. And just some trends. The data here that they're showing is in federal setting 1, 2, and 3. There are federal designations that are connected to the amount of a child's actual school day where they receive special education services. So that top number, that 58% is in federal setting one, which means that a child at federal setting one uh, receives at least 80% of their day in the general education classroom. So they get 20% of their day with special education or less. So it could be 20% down to like 1% of their days with special education. For students that are classified as federal setting two, that means that 20 to 60% of their day is in special education or with special education. And that would mean that 80 to 40% of their day are in a general education classroom. And then federal three is that it would be 40% of their day is in general education with a sliding bar of 61 to 99% of their day being in special education. And that special education encompasses a very large realm of educational supports too. So it looks very different for each child based on the needs they have. And it's just showing the trends of like, you know, the numbers have been relatively steady for students in setting one. There's been a slight decrease in setting two, and those students that have the most needs, there's been a slight increase in the last 5 years. And then again, I'm not going to read the questions. I'll just leave them up for you. But these are the questions that we'll be looking to get answers to or data from parents to share with the district about. The next one I'm going to jump into is discipline and belonging. Um, we, as administrators, were just looking at this data a week and a half ago. The highest percentage of students suspended from school are in middle school, specifically sixth grade boys are the ones that the trend right now in the district is the ones. A lot of that, I'm actually coming from a middle school to LNFI, and a lot of that is connected to like kids go from a classroom setting to now multiple classrooms. They have a homeroom. Their social dynamics all shift. And largely, a lot of kids are just trying to figure out where they fit. And sometimes they go about figuring out where they fit by doing things that get them negative attention, whether it's from peers and or adults, which I think filters into a lot of that data that we see here. Um, and then again, we also see some pretty stark disparities when we break down that data district wide amidst racial groups. Um, yeah. And again, I just leave that one there. This one is often, I don't want to ignore the role of race in all of this and really like take time to consider the impacts that race has on academic and behavioral outcomes for our students and for the community. Um, and then the data that we get out of students start completing these surveys for us. Our older students do this as well too. It's fourth and fifth grade students. It might be our third graders too. I have to double check on that. We do like a school climate survey a couple times a year. This data is actually one of those ones. Sometimes I look at it and I'm like, oh, this is just fascinating. And I still want to think about it more. But a lot of district wide and our older students, 8, 9, and 11th grade, share that their teachers care about them and treat them fairly. However, they strongly disagree that the rules are fair and that teachers are interested in them as people. So you get sometimes when you get through some of this like student climate data, you get this data where you're like, oh, this is interesting. And it feels like it kind of conflicts, or there's obviously doors open for much larger conversations about some of that data. One of the ones that I look at with our team a lot at Étoile, and this is from it's a similar survey to the one that I'm showing you the data from here that students at Étoile do, is that um, and this is one of my like annual goals is looking at like students feel like they can learn in their oh shoot, I'm going to forget exactly how it's phrased. I'm going to paraphrase it. It's something like I can learn in my class and the behavior of other students doesn't like distract me from learning or something like that. So we track data around that. Um, and yeah, and I look at that as like, oh, how's my student support team respond to classroom when there's a need? How are teachers working to manage their classrooms? And largely, we get good data from that at E12. And it's also just important stuff to look at. And then again, around discipline and belonging, again, it's some questions around like, is this about growth and accountability, or we feel like we're taking dignity away from people? Um, and then also, and then this was interesting data for me to jump into. We have 114 languages and dialects in St. Paul represented amongst our families, which is actually, to me, just like mind blowing because it represents the diversity of our community, which is amazing and a strength. Um, English, Hmong, Spanish, Karen, and Somali are the ones that are best represented. And one of the things we kind of often look for is that our families able to access language support services at school. And then what does that look like? We have kind of like how would I say? We have like a priority for how we try to provide services. We have district level translators, we have call-in services that we can use and outside agencies, and we try to prioritize using our district resources first, and then we use some of those other ones as available. And within the district, it's like we always want the community to support itself, and sometimes those needs surpass what we can provide as a district. And then you can kind of see here the breakdown in some of the shifts in some of the languages that are spoken within district. French went down quite a bit. I don't know, I'm just curious to know why that was the case. Um, yeah. Sorry, you might hear my son doing Spanish homework in the next room over. I apologize. I know he's taking Spanish. Like, really? And again, I think one of the priorities is, and one of the things actually I heard from A12 when I was coming in, I got a bunch of parent survey data as I was coming in as a new administrator. And one of the things I heard is that people felt that communication from the school wasn't great, right? And one of the reasons I do my weekly newsletters is because I wanted to take that head on and make sure that I was staying consistent and trying to provide families with like, just a weekly update from the school, which is good in some ways and also not perfect. I'm sure there's lots of opportunities for that to be better too. Um, yep. And then I'm going to jump in. I believe this is our last one. The marketing enrollment numbers are interesting. Student enrollment in St. Paul Public Schools has been declining. This is a trend that is reflected in metropolitan areas actually all around the country. And specifically in St. Paul, it's connected to a lot of different reasons. One is a decline in birth rates and fertility rates are going down. So just our student populations are coming down. Um, and then we also lose some students to open enrollment where they just elect to go to a school outside of St. Paul School District. Um, so you can kind of see, I have to be perfectly honest. I have questions about the blue line data. I don't believe that that means we lose 51,000 students in 2024 to open enrollment. I don't think that's true. But one of the things that we do know happens in school is that like enrollment has consistently been going down. And we lose the most amount of kids to charter schools in district. And I think for a lot of us that work in public schools, we sometimes struggle with charter schools a little bit. A lot of them provide really cool, unique community-based options and like need-based programs for families. And it pulls a lot of dollars away from public schools. So, yep. And then, of course, like the private schools, the non-public school world, and then open enrollment does take some students away from the district. Um, and then again, the district is just looking for information about to just try to understand better, like why do people elect for charter schools? Why do they elect to send their children out of district? And what can we do as a district to try to bolster that and keep people in connection with St. Paul Public Schools? All right. I talked a lot about that. We're not at thank you yet. But my question is, and I would love to hear from you all, what do you think the best way is to get data from families within the community? I've created a Google form that has these questions in it and is like an open, you can respond to one question or you can respond to all the questions about your experiences and about what you've been feeling in St. Paul Public Schools. And that feels really impersonal and also like not great. And also like trying to host a meeting at the school provides barrier challenges as well too. What do you think my best way is about getting data from parents and from you all that would help the district? And if you don't know, that's okay. I wasn't expecting anyone would have some like really quick, like, do this.
I think the Google form is a good start,
Okay.
especially when you're sharing it in your principal newsletter.
Okay.
Um, and at least it gives people an opportunity and everyone gets it. So,
Yeah.
I second that. As a parent, I read the family newsletter and I read the staff newsletter too. I get
Okay.
the family one first, so yeah, Google Form is good. Or send in by, I don't know, text message also.
Yeah.
I agree with that. I also think that the efforts that have been increased in the last year or two with all of the community engagement has been, I mean, for me, I'm seeing Latois out there more. I guess I'm not sure in in the data how much it is helping. However, it seems like people are more engaged, and what I'm wondering is about I know we lost a lot of people during COVID because parents who couldn't speak French were finding it more difficult to stay involved. And so I'm wondering if there's something we can do around increasing the knowledge that parents do not need to speak French in order to have their children be successful with the French check at Latois.
Sorry, I'm taking notes.
Oh,
The
that's okay.
awkward
Don't be
pause.
sorry.
You
I
know,
facilitate online meetings all the time. I'm used to awkward
yeah.
passes.
No, yes, I think what you're bringing up is a really good idea, and I've been in contact with some of the principals at other immersion schools as well in district, and one of the questions I've asked a lot about, I know we have a really clear expectation that we want if students start coming in, even if it's like first grade, second grade, third grade, that we would like for them to have a foundation in French. And like one of the things I'm exploring and wondering is just like, well, can we figure out an on-ramp for my enrollment numbers are funny because they tend to just go like this and then straight up because we don't really have an on-ramp after second grade really. And even in second grade, to come into an immersion program where you haven't had, in theory, maybe pre-K, kinder, first grade, like 3 years of immersion experience, like how can we open a door for families? And that's one of those things I'm really like exploring and want to like figure out a way to do that. um and I don't know if I have a perfect solution, and some of the solutions I often find when my brain goes that way aren't always equitable as well too. So I need to like keep myself in check on that and making it more accessible. um and also like the other flip of it is just like, Miss Faltasek is such a strong advocate for the school. And she, if you all don't know that, she works almost all the time trying to figure out, in addition to her awesome teaching, figuring out how to promote the school and market the school better. And just even like in smaller steps, like there's big, residences or residencies like right next to the school. Like, and we have an event like Karames coming up. Like, how can we invite those families into the community and start to build, relationships just on the east side of St. Paul too? So I think it's like both. It's, yeah, getting that message out there. And it kind of breaks my heart when I drive past people getting on buses from right across the street from the school to go to some other school in district. And that happens for a variety of reasons. And I'd love for them to come to our school.
I wanted to second what Jen said about like being out in the community. I mean, this is my first year here, so I don't know how it was before. But like the first time I actually met Rebecca was like at the Grand Old Days parade because I saw the LNFI tent. And we were like gonna come here anyway, but it was like so nice to see them out in the neighborhood and like people stopping by. So I guess I would say continuing that seems like a great idea. Um, and also a very not something that's necessarily going to help, but just a question on the Google form. I was just wondering if it's all open-ended questions or if there are some sort of that are more because I know open-ended questions are great because people can actually express their true experience and like not be, you know, down to a checkbox, but it can sometimes, I feel like, be hard to find the action from that or like aggregate data. So I guess I was wondering if there are any questions that are sort of like allow you to maybe have more, I don't know, quantifiable data for a couple things.
So, yes, I won't be the one processing the data. So I say,
Okay,
let's bring in all the data we can get.
great.
And I also think that I say it jokingly, but I know that the district has a much larger team that like they really want to hear from parents. Like they made that clear to
Great.
administrators. Like we want your parent feedback. We know we're going to get information and experiences that cover a very broad spectrum, and we want to like pull all that in because I think the hope is that if they can do this kind of like bigger data project that they can start to find some good consistency and align goals around it. So I would agree that yes, that will be a big project, and I know the district has a lot of folks that are kind of waiting to do it, and it won't necessarily be a building principal. So
Okay, awesome. I didn't realize that this survey was like these. Yeah, great.
and mine is not for the district one, but I'll get the
Okay,
information out of there and send it over to them. So
cool. Cool.
I see a hand up. You feel free to chime in.
Yeah, the one thing I just wanted to share, I have some colleagues who are looking at 12 du Nord, not French. They are looking at the school because of the data and the how well 12 du Nord performs in certain areas compared to the rest of the school district. And I think I understand that 12 is part of the school district, but advocating that you have strong academics compared to the rest of the schools within Sample. I think is advantageous to stabilize enrollment figures. At least when it comes to marketing as well, I think it'd be a good idea as well is to look at digital marketing, Facebook. I know the advertisements are very, very expensive in those platforms, but having those targeted marketing to the Francophile community or other really, how do I call it? When you look at your data and you look at the individuals who are enrolling, having that more targeted outreach with a more successful rate and success might be something to look at.
Thank you for sharing. That's I want to share with you a little bit too. Thank you for that. And one of the things that I'm super excited about this year specifically, and we have this now for the next couple years, we were one of the schools that was selected within the district to receive some extra marketing supports. And one of that is we partner with this group called School Mint, which helps guide us and support us in doing a lot of social media advertising, and they give us lists of like links, but it's only links that are really credible ones. They send us a ton of data to break down. I actually got one of their emails today, and it gives age demographics and geographic demographics where our ads get links, and it's pretty cool. And I'm learning a ton. This is uncharted territory for me for sure, and feel very fortunate to have the support of the people at School Mint and the district, like the larger district marketing team, to help us with some of that. And I'm really hoping that it'll translate to some good results. So fingers crossed.
Have we been getting good interaction with our social media?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we get a lot of links, and I get a lot of email notifications about the ones that are the good ones to follow up on. So
Great.
I just had an idea pop into my head about, oh gosh, now that I unmuted myself, it's gonna leave my brain. Sorry.
it
Just,
comes back.
oh my
Unmuted.
goodness.
It's okay. It's going to come back to you.
I hope so.
It will.
It's about us. Oh, gifted
Yeah.
and talented.
There we go.
So I received the letter that was put out this year for the kids who had tested into GNT. And I thought that was really cool because we'd never received that before. And our girls have all tested into it, and we've chosen specifically to stay at Latois because we feel the duolingual, the bilingual will outweigh the benefit of anything Capitol Hill would offer. But I wonder too if that's something that we could market towards the GNT, the families that test into GNT in the SPPS community and or in districts around. I don't know how much people think about that when looking at different schools and what possibilities could be. But it is something that we feel very strongly about with our kids. And I've known people who have gone to Capitol Hill and been very happy to do that, but also people who have gone and been very disappointed because they were much happier at Latois. So
Yeah. I appreciate you sharing that.
Mhm.
I will not say anything bad about any other schools in district
No,
because
no,
we
no,
have a
no.
lot that are wonderful.
Yeah.
And what you bring up is a really good point. And it's connected to a previous comment about achievement within the school as well too.
Mhm.
Our students tend to do very well, and
Mhm.
I think we do have really high academic standards within the building, which is really cool to
Mhm.
see.
Mhm.
And they still get something that in some like it's very different and highly unique in comparison to what other schools offer. And I think that that's a real strength for us. And it's a big draw, I think, for a lot of families, kind of like you said, Jen, where it's just they feel like, well, they still are getting really good education and they get the immersion and, the cultural benefits of being in our community
Yeah,
as well, too.
yeah,
So
definitely.
I took over way more of the meeting than I think I was supposed to, Rebecca. I'm sorry. You
It's
should have started playing the music. I'm happy to hear more comments, and I think what I'm going to do, and if anyone has any different feelings, and if you all are not comfortable sharing in a like venue like this, like in a Google Meet or a Zoom meeting, please don't hesitate to reach out via email if you would like. And I think I'll send the Google form out in my newsletter. I'll also include this kind of slide deck, so if people aren't able to be here to kind of see a little bit of the information about the process and some of the data that's underlying some of the like topics of priority. They can kind of see some of that. And yeah, thank you for giving me the opportunity to connect with you all. I appreciate it.
Thanks for being here.
Yeah.
And thanks to everyone who offered such good input and engagement in the conversation. So, yeah, thank you. All right. Well, we do have some announcements. So, moving on to the intern committee. Is there anyone here who does not know what a host family provides? No, I'm just kidding. We are still looking for host families for next year. We have four who are signed up. We're needing 12. And we do have a little bit of a timeline that we're working with because we start getting candidates kind of mid-April. And by the time we're doing interviews, I think it's a good thing to have the host families set so that we know we can offer them a position and we'll have a place for them to live when we're doing the interview. So if anyone is interested in hosting, I think we do have some host families on who are gonna host for next year. Um, would love to answer any of your questions. Just go ahead and reach out. Um, so yeah, that's kind of the main thing that we're working on with the intern committee right now. Um, and as we move on in the next month or so, then we'll start meeting our candidates, which is going to be really exciting, as well. And I've gotten some really good feedback from our current interns also about, stuff they've been doing. They went to BizTown yesterday with the fourth and fifth graders, and they've just been having a lot of fun. And they are ready for winter to be over, though. But they're doing well. They are all awesome. So that's it for the intern committee. I'm gonna throw it to Anna. If you want to share, the PTO has a lot going on in March. Just gonna say, there's a
Yeah.
lot. Yeah. So I'll let Anna fill you in on some other things.
Yeah, I think it's like the warmer spring weather. Usually it gets warmer and we get more active. But
Yeah.
yeah, so we got open gym coming up March 17th, 6 to 8, and that is the intern takeover, right?
Yep. But the intern, so it's also St. Patrick's Day. which I didn't realize when we planned this, and they have requested to go out and enjoy St. Patrick's Day. And so we are going to still
Ooh.
do the intern program takeover, and we'll have a lot of information, and we have a cool presentation to put up in the cafeteria and some special snacks and things like that. Um, so it's still going to be focused on the intern program, but the interns are going to be having a cultural experience.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
I was like, yeah, don't worry about it.
Wow.
Go have
Best of
fun.
luck to them.
Yes.
They'll have to report back and tell us what they think.
Yeah.
But but
Anyway, keep
okay.
going.
So then we've got Black History Month celebration coming up April 21st. I think that sounds like a pretty cool planned event. I think we got that storyteller. Is that still in the works?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep, she's coming. Yep.
All right. And then
And it'll be dinner too. Yeah.
yes, okay, so dinner, storyteller. And then Kermesse Planning Committee has started. We've just had one meeting. So folks that want to join in, you haven't missed anything. We are just getting kind of coordinated for this year. We're looking for someone to lead concessions. So this would mean like we just need a parent volunteer who could call up and maybe rent like a popcorn machine, and then help some middle school and high school volunteers serve out hot dogs and chips and fruit and bottled water, and that's in the cafeteria. So it would be just like a commitment of just a couple hours to get things planned, and then to actually show up to the event, which we were thinking was going to be roughly 5 to 8 on June 5th. So, and then someone to help with the silent auction. I think Emily may have signed up, but someone to like help call businesses and just say, hey, can you donate a gift card? So, and then so yeah, so if parents are interested, we'll be meeting roughly every other week until June 5th. To get that set up. And then we have March staff appreciation meals coming up for the long hours that teachers work for conferences. We like to feed them lunch during the Tuesday and Thursday when they have conferences. So on Tuesday, March 31st, we're doing like a potluck style with a little bit of store-bought food mixed with some donations from parents. So there's a sign up that went out for like drinks, desserts, fruits, snacks, and then a little bit of donations we're hoping for April 2nd when we serve them lunch again. And then I can also share, Rebecca, just jumping ahead to when you were going to talk about the Gerton's plant sale.
Oh yeah.
I just checked our sales. We've had 21 orders and totaling roughly $2,600. We only get a percentage of that. So we're looking at roughly 400, like $393 on the low end or $786 on the high end that we've raised. So that'll be great to add to our fundraising. And it's still going on until March 30th if people want to purchase some of those plants. And then pickup is May 1st after school.
Fabulous. Spring actually is coming. There's proof. The Gerton's plant sale is happening.
Yeah.
I was just thinking as I was walking across the front yard today at school, I was like, there's going to be our Gerton's plants or flowers are going to be here and no snow very soon. Thank you, Anna. Yeah, so there's a lot to contribute to and lots of ways to contribute. If you have an hour to help us at the plant sale, or if you want to help us, if you want to just drop a donation for the staff meals, there's lots of different ways for everyone to get involved. Malia, do you want to talk about communications? The book fair's coming up. Is she on?
Sorry, yes.
Oh,
yes,
yes, here she is.
I couldn't find my mute. Yes, so the book fair is coming up again during conferences. It'll be just that. So it's sorry, I don't have the exact dates, but it's like the very last week of March into the beginning of April. So on Tuesday night and Thursday night, families can shop during conferences, and then also on Friday as well. And there will be student shopping on Tuesday during the day for grades 2 to 5. And some information will go home next week for that. But there are English materials only now since Scholastic does not have French materials anymore. And we will do another like French book fair, a virtual one again later this year. But yeah, we'll need some volunteers. It's a $5 credit per hour volunteer. If you're able to help out with like setting up and helping during the school day while the students are shopping and also at night. So yeah, that information will go home and actually probably in the newsletter this tomorrow too.
Thank you, Malia. Anything else with communications?
I don't think so.
Yeah. There's
I
gonna be
guess one
another
thing is,
New York year.
yeah, oh yeah, that's right, that's right. And then also just changing up our flyer so that it has all the information hopefully in one spot so that it's accessible.
Thank you, Malia. All right, fundraising. Plant sales happening, like I said, proof that spring is coming. It's all good. We got lots of time left to order. Our glow run is in full swing. And there's been a tremendous response so far from the community. So thank you to everyone who registered their kid, got donations, called up grandma and grandpa, got, the grandparents involved. We've had almost $15,000 in pledges in the last 2 days. And usually we get to around 25 to 30,000. So it's really amazing how fast it's gotten going this year. The run is going to be next Thursday at school. There is a volunteer sign up if you want to come to school on that day and help us mark laps. The kids will run around in the gym. There's like a lit up track. It's like neon. It's like there's a huge inflatable tunnel. There's like a DJ there with some good vibes going, and they make it super fun. So it is really fun. I danced so much at one that I went into labor that one year. Um, but it was fine. Got it under control. So anyway, looking forward to that, and I think the kids are too. It's just super fun and just joyful. So thanks to everyone who has participated in that. And if you want to come help on the day of, it's also a good time. So the sign up link went home will be in the principal's newsletter, and it's a bunch of different places. So it should be easy to find. We are still accepting donations for our Family Aid Fund, and that fund is accessible to all families. They just need to contact our school social worker, or Ronnie Bosve has been doing a lot of that coordinating for the school, and then with their needs. And then we have a group of families who are filling the aid things, but everything is confidential. So the link to donate is on our PTO page. You just hit contribute, and then there's a drop down box. So you can select Family Aid Fund. And like I said, it's available to all families, it's confidential, and it's, I think, a great way to support our community. And that is it for fundraising, I think. PTO is starting our planning for next year. Oh, Emily, you have your hand up. Go ahead.
Sorry, I hate to even ask this because
No,
we're
you're
doing
good.
it. Gabe's super excited about it. I was
Yes.
just curious what is our margin for the My Booster? Like, do we
Good
get
question.
85% of the money or 50% of the money?
Yep. So good question. So they have different levels, and the
Yeah.
more work we do, the higher amount percentage we get. So you can do everything and do the run and get the highest percentage. We do everything, but we have My Booster come and do the run for us. So we get 75% of all of the donations, and then we pay them a fee to come and set up the track and the lights and have the DJ and do the run. That day. So, and that's, I think, a couple thousand. So, usually in the end, we end up keeping like 20 to 22,000 roughly. And our donations are usually like 20, like I said, 20, 25, 27, somewhere in there. I think
I'll
it's
jump
pretty
in on
good.
that real
Yeah,
quick,
go ahead,
Rebecca, if it
Sarah.
helps, because I was just looking at these numbers. So I think last year our percentage was it ended up between the percentage we keep of each of the donations plus the fee that we pay them for coming, roughly 60% of the total money that was donated did we get to keep. So that is us, maybe it seems very low, but also this is like our biggest fundraiser for the year. And so we get a really big number. So I think every year we as the board evaluate that, and every year we look at our numbers. As a parent, I also sort of sometimes have mixed feelings about the whole thing, but the kids seem to love it and it seems to be very successful. And so that's why we've kept doing it. But we are always open to feedback and alternative ideas. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, totally. I guess I was wondering, is the reason that we do it with My Booster because there aren't enough people to volunteer to do it without My Booster,
There is
which
an
I would
element
get
of that also.
because based on the number of people that do all of y'all are all doing all the things.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. And they
Yeah.
do offer a lot of support and all the
Yeah.
materials and all of that. That would be a lot for us if we were just going to do it all on our own.
Gabe is very excited.
Yeah. No, but yeah, and yeah, so there is that to it also. But they do a lot of they provide a lot of support. Like we're in contact with them every day. They send, there's tons of boxes full of the materials, the flyers, the lanyards, prizes, and all that stuff. They provide all the prizes for the kids too. So yeah, and I think when we started doing this is I think our fourth year with them. Um, when it was the first year, we called around to a bunch of different places and kind of compared what percentage we'd be able to get. And so this was the most competitive one at the time. Um, and I think it's pretty typical when you're to get roughly that 65% mark when you're doing a professional, like a fundraiser with a professional company. But yeah, it's fun. The DJ and everything, it's so fun. They do a really good job the day of the run too. So
Good. Well,
yeah. But we've thought about doing like a readathon or something like that too, which I think would be good.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Cool. Thanks, guys.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So, if there's any other questions, throw them up in the chat or just raise your hand. So, strategic planning. So we've started working on our budget and our calendar for next year. So there is a Google form going around. If you have input for what you'd like to see, we do use that to plan our activities for next year and allocate our finances based on what the community wants. It's a community group, and so we use the community to help guide us in the planning. Let's see. Sarah, do you want to give a quick treasurer's update?
Sure. Since we're running up on time, I will try and keep this quick. But of course, if anybody has questions or wants more specifics, feel free to reach out. I'm happy to provide that. Overall, we're pretty close on our budget. We are close on a lot of our budget, but we're certainly well within tolerances. We're over on a couple things, under on a couple of other things, but we are on track, I would say. We are having a bit of a lean year in comparison to the previous 2 years. We got really comfortable, but in the same way that families have to run their household budgets, we run ours also, and we understand that families are doing what they can, and we're definitely seeing that reflected. That being said, also things like the Glow Run, sometimes people surprise us and people are really excited. So overall, I think we are sitting very well. The one sort of big change since the last update I gave is the family aid, which Rebecca mentioned. So that wasn't a budget line item for us, and we did ask the community to contribute to that, which the community did respond with about $3,500, which is amazing. And we have taken that and pushed it right back out to the people that need it at the discretion, not of the PTO board, but at the discretion of the social worker, help with principal barter, et cetera. And so I think we feel really good about being able to meet that community need. And that's not something that we're sort of holding on to. So
just wanted to make sure everybody was aware of that and understands what's going on. So, and also as Rebecca mentioned, she likes to steal my thunder. She puts me at the
Sorry.
very end, and then she talks about a lot of the things that are on my plate. So we are
You know
starting to
me.
plan. We are starting to plan for next year, and so we are looking at our budget that we did for this year, evaluating what worked and what didn't. And we really would love feedback from the community of highlighting, help us plan for the things that are important to you guys. If there's something that's important, but it's not on our budget radar, then it's hard for us to plan. And then sometimes we can't accommodate it as easily. And so in this planning phase is when we really could use the feedback so that we have everything outlined, and we don't have any surprises that are a little bit harder to absorb. So please, all the parents, all the teachers, anybody that's willing to, please give us feedback. We really appreciate it and we take it seriously. And that's all I
We've
have.
gotten 4 responses so far.
Well, 4 is better than 0, but
yes,
great if we could get more. So
yeah, I second what Sarah said. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Sarah.
Any questions? Yeah, you're welcome. Any questions for me? I gotta run here. Okay. Well, thank you to everybody for being here. I appreciate it. Back to you, Rebecca.
Thanks. All right, that is the end of the meeting. We're going to wrap up. Our next meeting will be on April 16th, Thursday, April 16th on Zoom, 6 to 7 p.m. If you have any input for our agenda, if there's a topic that you'd like to talk about, you can email your suggestions to Malia at malia.caruso@lnfi-pto.org, or there will be a link on our next meeting flyer. And you can drop your suggestions there and we will put them on the agenda. So that is our meeting for the night. So thank you to everyone. Some good information and a really good conversation tonight. So thanks, everyone. And until April, take care. We'll see you then.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Rebecca.
Good night.
Thank you.
Bye.